meeting of the City of New Brunswick Traffic Commission to order. And beginning with the item A, reports on traffic infrastructure projects. I believe we have some updates from Mr. Daniel Burke.
Well, I can tell you the county portion of Livingston Avenue has been completed and it's wrapped up. I can't say, do you know where the state
I think that's also done.
The state portion is nearly done, I think, and they've adjusted their plans to match the striping line configuration with what the county has previously done.
Correct.
So they're in good stead. Next one is Joyce Kilmer. The Joyce Kilmer project, Phase 2 project, is completed for all intents and purposes. We're in closeout, and that was a DOT grant for $650,000, give or take. I think.
That was 511.
511. Okay.
Yeah. Handy was 535. 650 is Sanford Street.
Okay. Handy Street improvements, the water department is wrapping up its work up at the top of the project, which is up by the plan on Comstock, and that allowed us to get going on the concrete and so forth. So we've completed the curb, sidewalk, and drainage improvement portion of it between Joyce Kilmer and Jersey, and we're now currently working between Joyce Kilmer and Livingston and working towards the terminus of that project for our purposes is Paul Robeson. I expect as long as weather holds out, we'll continue doing the concrete, the curb and sidewalk improvements, and probably pave it next spring. And at the conclusion of our paving, which is our paving limits are Jersey to Paul Robeson, the water department contractor will then do its paving from Paul Robeson up to the plant. Jules Lane, in final throes of design. Hopefully we'll get that in front of the DOT later this month for their blessing on the plans, and I'd like to say we'll be out to bid, I'd like to say late January, early February, which would put it into April or May construction. That project has got $300,000 of DOT money in it, and the water department is having us include some water main improvements along that route. Sanford Street traffic signal upgrade that's actually become a lot more than that. Again, that we submitted for a DOT grant and received $650 on that one and that project, and then the water department piggyback on top of that. So that's a water main improvement from Railroad to Paul Robeson. There's going to be some incidental sanitary sewer improvements and repairs, and then the intersection signals at Remsen and Paul Robeson will be reconfigured, redone, and brought up to speed. Currently now they're the last remaining non-LED signals we have in our
Whole town.
So they'll be brought up to code. And the issue right now is that the contractor is awaiting his materials. He's expected to have preliminary water materials enough to get started probably as early as next week. And all the other materials have been released. Some of the traffic signal materials I'm told could be as long as 26 weeks out. They have been released. So I'll expect to see the traffic signal work probably next spring. French Albany Easton is in, again, finalizing. They're doing paving. They've paved on Easton from the upper terminus, which is between mine and Hamilton.
Mid-block, roughly, mine and Hamilton.
And they're working down towards Albany French.
Yeah, they stopped and they didn't quite complete the Somerset to French portion. You saw it in your place.
So again, they're bound by some temperature constraints, so we're going to be working at night. Cancer Center and so forth are moving along again. Their steel is complete on the main building. The precast for the parking deck is expected to start very shortly and proceed from what I can see.
They're starting the crane erection now. It takes several days to assemble the crane to start that. So
once they get the crane up, precast will start coming in. By the schedule I saw, that'll proceed for another 4 months or so. PSE&G substation, Joyce Kilmer, that work is all pretty much on site. What's coming out of there, though, is 2 main circuits, one of which will proceed down Joyce Kilmer to Patterson. They've completed the section of that, that's within the limits of what we paved ahead of our paving schedule. They'll pick that up and bring that from May. I think they terminate at May, so they'll work from May down to Patterson. The other route is, they went out to 12th Street to Livingston, Livingston to Hollywood, Hollywood to Remsen, and they're currently doing test pits for the vault locations along Remsen. Again, once they do the test pit work, then they'll finalize their design alignment and so forth and move ahead with that.
They started saw cutting on Remsen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we expect to see the test pitting to go for a month or two. The county's annual paving project is done. That was wrapped up without issue. That's all I have. And I've given everybody copies of my current activity. There's a bit more. One of the good notes on that is we just received a grant award for Lee Avenue from Loretta to Hale and Burnett from Tunison to the bridge,
The Lawrenceburg Bridge.
Lawrenceburg Bridge.
That was 707 and change.
$707,000.
Well, Lee Adams is a big component, it needs it,
Yeah.
so.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Next on our agenda, we have an opportunity for public comment. If anyone would like to comment, you're welcome. Welcome to do so. Simply provide your name and location of residence.
Hi, yes, Danielle Moore, Somerset Street. Well, first I would like to say, towards the last meeting of the year, happy holidays to everyone, have a safe holiday. But first thing I would like to start off due to where the safety of our kids mainly and pedestrians, due to where, you know, time has gone back, it's getting dark very early, I'm seeing too many street lights out. And please, can we please have work on that due to where I do have, like I said, I do take time to take the pictures, write some of the numbers down, but all poles don't have numbers down. I do have to say I have 2 numbers here for by the corner of Somerset and Oxford. And like I said, it's getting very dangerous with street lights being out.
You have those
Ms.
numbers?
Moore, you can have me the numbers, I'll make sure we.
Thank you. Like I said, I do take the time to do that
Thank
and all. But okay, as far as Livingston Avenue, I would say great job, and it is great to see that the state did take this all the way towards North Brunswick, where I seen it yesterday, all the way up towards Howe Lane. It's good to see that the county and state is getting together, but now, due to where it's sad to say what I'm seeing, it has been over 6 months that this project has been completed, and wow, come on, the county and the state, well, the county paid over $6.6 million to redo Livingston Avenue, but wow, still seeing too many motor vehicle crashes, and I say the police department needs to do a better job in ticketing and making sure people are following the rules, due to where that was 11/24/22 this year, due to where that was a 3-vehicle crash, seeing on the corner of Livingston and Handy, and like I said, come on, I say the police department needs to do a better job. It's not the project. People have time to get used to it. And like I said, I hope not to see too many accidents anymore. I will say great job with Joyce Comer Avenue. Okay, I will say hope to see starting from Sanford Street going down towards Handy Street to be improved on the next budget plan. And I would say that'll be almost the entire Joyce Comer getting completed out of the past 10 years. Now my main concerns due to where, let's talk about French, Easton, and Albany Street, Spring Street intersection, due to where I tell you, I can't stop thinking about this. I'm seeing too many things that are making me nervous, but I would like to thank Mr. Ron Sanders for taking the time to meet with me October 28th last month with his crew, engineering crew, due to where we did see an issue. I did see an issue due to where, and it was resolved, they fixed it, due to where that was how once you come from Eastern Avenue and make the left turn, you have the green light, but how the cars were stopping at the red light. Thank you, Jesus, it didn't cause a pileup. But then due to where after talking to the engineers, they put some type of sensor on the lights, and I noticed at nighttime where it doesn't happen anymore. So thank you, Jesus. I would like to thank him and his crew for taking the time to listen to me on that. Now, the other issues that I do see, which I will be speaking with Mr. Ron Sanders as well, due to where this plan will be similar to Livingston Avenue, but this will be 2 lanes on each lot on side, and then with that center lane, due to where I was told it's to come make a left into Albany, even though I'm not understanding that yet, because like I said, with the walkway there, I still don't see how it's going to be, unless the walkway is going to be removed, how are you going to make a left into that? But I see it still takes time, so patience on that, and like I said, I will talk on that, but my main concern is, I say a guardrail has to be put in the middle of that, and please, I will be showing the pictures at the next meeting with the county as well, due to where the difference between this and Livingston Avenue with this center lane, you have too many people who are impatient that's gonna come across Spring Street instead of turning right where they're supposed to, because I've been seeing it already, and like I said, I have pictures where they're coming out using that center lane, making illegal turns, and it's gonna cause a big situation. And when I say I can't stop thinking about something, please, I hope you do take me seriously on that, so this doesn't concern a big problem there, even though, like I said, due to where, and then my other concern was due to where we had a big situation. I thank New Brunswick Police Department on that. That was Monday there at that location where there was a power outage over there. And due to where all the traffic lights was out, they did a great job, but wow, sad to say, like I said, people don't even respect the police officers, a couple of them almost got hit due to where the people don't respect them. And then you wonder why. I really have my concerns on, please, trying to make things better in New Brunswick and safer. So basically, that's my main things that I had to talk about. And like I said, please, I say it again, just please take me serious about looking for a guardrail to be put in that road to even stop people from walking across the street so no one gets hit there. Like I said, if you take the time and stand down there sometimes, and like I made a joke with one of my buddies at the police department, I said, wow, when I was doing my pictures, I said, no, this isn't the best time to do pictures due to where some people do right as long as you see the police officer standing there. And then later on during the day when there's not a police officer around, you see how people do things. But like I said, thank you for trying to make New Brunswick safe. And then, like I said, I still need to see one last thing I almost forgot. And I mentioned it's been almost 6 months now. Please, due to with all these construction projects going on, with signs not being put up in place in regards to, I see people, not just me saying the same thing, posting due to where the signs, the route to the hospital, a lot of these signs are not being put back up in the proper locations. And please, especially when it comes to something like a hospital sign saying that it's that way, I do take that very seriously and hope someone looks into it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Other public comment?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Charlie Cradfield, New Brunswick. I wanted to talk about buses today and ask for an update on the shelters that were installed along Livingston Avenue. As discussed, the seating arrangement was unusual. I have started to notice others that are also like that in other communities, but is there any update on why some were installed one way and some were installed the other way?
Certainly. In fact, Mr. Daniel Burke has done some research and has an update for us.
I did in fact. I reached out and contacted the head of bus shelters for New Jersey Transit, and he couldn't give me the information. We went out and surveyed the locations in which how many are facing one way and facing the other way, and we ascertained the manufacturer of those bus stations, or what we call handy cut. I contacted them, and they said they could be put in either direction, but they put me in touch with their installation contractor. And I spoke to them today, and they said they're done either way. If the city wants them to be altered so that they all are in the position where the seated person faces traffic as opposed to the seated person facing the buildings, they would be happy to come out and alter them to that effect. I think our count was, out of the 14 that I have listed, 4 face traffic, the remaining 10 face buildings. But if the city is desirous of it, they will come out, and they said they'll send a gentleman out and turn them around and relocate them so they're in the other side of the shelter facing traffic.
Your understanding is there's no charge for that?
That's what they indicated, there's no charge for that. I have a contact person with an outfit, the outfit is called Room Renovation, that does the installations for transit.
Thank you for the research and the thorough answers. I'll follow up later on that. I did want to ask if anyone here has any insight into the county and what they intend to do when it comes to restoring bus service to New Brunswick.
My understanding is that the mayor's office has reached out to several transit, for example, and I think it was Rutgers, regarding the use of George Street, and my understanding is they have not responded to us.
I think he's talking about the M5.
I'm sorry?
I think he's talking about the M5.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, I don't know if it's all related to that or not, but we have no insight to M5.
So it's all because of the pandemic, right? So there's a lot less service. There were also some changes to service. So anticipated, my next question was about Rutgers and George Street, whether they're going to start using that again, or does Rutgers or the county have a representative here today?
We do have a Rutgers representative in the audience.
Okay, great. So when the appropriate time comes, I'd love to hear from them if they are going to, could resume using George Street or keep the, fall semester, routes in place as they move forward. I actually saw a double E, my corner on Saddam and Remsen today, so I was curious what that's about. I'm just curious what the future of the Rutgers routes is. To the county, I have, brought this up repeatedly at public meetings there, and there's a, gentleman in charge of transportation there who says he's hopeful that they will roll out their new and improved bus plans, including service in New Brunswick, by the end of the year. But that timeline is fast approaching, and how the holidays are and everything. I'm not totally confident we'll get it by the end of the year, but I'm told that there'll be something released or shared soon from the county. I think that's really critical for New Brunswick to make sure that that's the best possible service for the residents here. The M5 route needed a lot of work. Last thing it needed was to be taken out of service for a couple of years, but if it's going to come back, we got to make sure it's done right, and take advantage of some of the bus shelters that have been installed, and some of the locations that might have high use of transit. But yeah, so nobody has any information about the county any more than what I have? Okay. Well, I'll keep pushing there, and then just wanted to say I look forward to the remaining agenda items, including old business and the 2023 schedule. Please hold your meetings at times that are more convenient for the public. This is one of the only city entities that meets at this time of day, and I think at least some of your meetings ought to be later in the evenings. Even if you did 5:30, you'd probably get more public engagement, public input, and would just respectfully suggest that you consider that as you decide on your 2023 meeting schedule. But to end my remarks, thank you all for your service, and wish you all a very happy and healthy holiday season.
Thank you very much.
And I apologize, I have 2 o'clock I have to run to, so while it's meeting, everyone, have a wonderful rest of the meeting, and I'll see you in the new year. Take care.
Thank you, Mr. Dominguez. And now you have a Rutgers representative, if you would wish to address the commission.
Just a quick introduction. My name is Brendan Torres. I'm with Rutgers Institutional Planning and Operations. Attending today, kind of in Frank Wong's place. He sometimes attends these. It's good to meet all of you. Looking forward to working with you in the future. Charlie, just to quickly address your question, I believe the current plan for the spring is to continue service as it is right now at the fall, but I will touch base with some people in transportation services, and I'll see if there's any plans to change. But as far as I know, Double E and FRUB will continue their service as is. That's all I had. Good to meet all of you, and happy holidays.
Thank you very much. We now turn to the old business section of the agenda. for which we have one item, the flashing pedestrian crosswalk signals that I believe Mr. Dan Burke has an update on that.
So this was brought up I believe at the last meeting, that one of the two flashing pedestrian signals at the intersection of Sedan and Troop was taken out of service, presumably by a motor vehicle accident. Looked into it, found we do have possession of the remnants of it. The pole was damaged beyond repair. An order has been placed for a replacement pole. Upon receipt of that replacement pole, it'll be put back in service. I'm told the replacement pole, 18 to 24 weeks. It's several months out on many of these aluminum type fabricated products.
For those interested, it tends to be the cast aluminum that is primarily used for street lights, traffic signal poles. That part of the industry still has not made a full, any kind of recovery from supply chain issues.
A purchase order has been issued.
Yes.
To get acquire the replacement equipment.
And that's the full scope of the materials that are understood to be needed to get that back in
At
operation.
this point in time, yes. My understanding, the fixtures we have all the fixtures that were on the other pole. It was just the pole was snapped at the base.
Fortunately, the pole that was snapped is what we refer to as the slave pole. It doesn't have the controller, all it has literally is a button and a light to it. The one that has the battery pack with the solar panel with the controller on it, that was not damaged. Fortunately, because that would have been probably 3 times the cost. But part of the delay was that we attempted to ascertain license plates from some security cameras in the area. We were not able to ascertain those. So unfortunately, because if we could, we can make a claim and recover the dollars. In this case, we can't. So, but it is on order, absolutely. It's just these items are long leads, and we're finding several similar same comments have come back to us regarding our traffic signal improvements that we reported on earlier for Paul Robeson to Sanford, for Remsen and Sanford. We're hearing very similar time delays for these types of materials. So we're not just hearing it from one vendor, we're hearing it from across the industry, so to speak.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Next on the agenda, we have the new business, which is comprised of the 2023 meeting schedule for our body, which has been provided to all of the commissioners. And this schedule is similar with some enhancements perhaps to the current, and is composed of essentially bi-monthly meetings during 2023 on Thursdays, held here in council chambers of City Hall. And they would be alternating meetings from the first meeting at 1:30 p.m., the successive at 5:30 p.m. And the particular dates of the first meeting being February 2, 2023 at 1:30 p.m., followed by April 6, 2023 at 5:30 p.m., followed by June 1st at 1:30 p.m., and then August 3 at 5:30 p.m., followed by October 5 at 1:30 p.m., and then November 9 at 5:30 p.m. And the thought is that these differing opportunities would perhaps benefit folks in the community who may have different personal schedules and commitments, whether that's childcare or other commitments, and therefore provide opportunities to come as it relates to various individuals later in the afternoon versus sort of midday, so we can see how that goes in 2023. Is there any comment among the commissioners on this matter? Well, with that, I would provide the motion on that. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda will be the roundtable for the Traffic Commission. So it's an opportunity once again for the commissioners to share anything of note for this body and the public that is happening or perhaps down the pike. So we'll just open this up.
Nothing to report.
Yes.
In response to Ms. Moore's request for Joyce Kilmer to be paved from Handy to the terminus of Loretta, it will be paved at the conclusion of the PSE&G's conduit work. So that segment, that is the middle segment of JK, will be paved more than likely before the end of next year, as based on PSE&G's schedule.
They're gonna pick up from where we left off at Loretto and literally go all the way to Patterson. Redo it, even though part from Handy Code was already redone, but they're gonna pave curb to curb, so.
Okay, thank you.
Likewise, Remsen Avenue, the entire length is gonna be repaved as well.
One more item I have is Mike Tublin had pointed out to me a few weeks ago that one of our pedestrian actuator signals at the intersection of Nielsen and Albany was dislodged from the pole. He brought it to my attention, and we had it, retapped and repaired. It had again been, and I presume vandalized, ripped off the pole for a second time.
Similar damage at Albany and George.
And then a second was done a block away at Albany and George. So there's some mischief going on. They presumably grabbed the sign and rattle it back and forth and rip it off and then drop them on the ground. Today I went out there and temporarily wire tied them back in place, but it should be noted that, it's pricey equipment out there and it's being vandalized.
The county's been noticed because they have a signal at George and Albany, so they're aware of it as well. I'd like to add something, just so people understand the impacts of costs as it relates to street lighting. We spend about $700,000 a year, the city, to pay for street lighting throughout the town. A good number of those are the older style, what I call Cobra head, that you'll see on the wooden utility pole. All right, and depending on the type of fixture, determines how much public service charges the city per month for that fixture. So typically on a wooden utility pole, the old Cobra style lights, they're about a $9 charge per month. Whereas in Livingston Avenue, beautiful and they're well lit, the brand new fixtures on Livingston that are also very similar to the ones at French and Albany, those are $40 a month charge. So that is literally 5 times the value. So Livingston Avenue absolutely looks gorgeous. It is well lit and needed. I'm not trying to criticize that. But please understand, it used to cost us $5,000 a year to keep Livingston Avenue lit. Now it's going to cost us $90,000 a year to keep Livingston Avenue lit. So yes, it is improvements, but understand that there is a huge cost associated with it. And just to give people a heads up that there is significant value to these improvements, but those are also continuing annual costs that the city is now bearing. So, there's improvements, but there's also the cost for that improvement. So a lot of times our job as engineers is to find what is the most reasonable, safe, and practical compromise to help economize on dollars. Because if we continue this rate with these beautiful fixtures, we're going to double our cost on an annual basis for street lighting. So just everyone to keep in mind that there are different levels of parameters and how they impact the city in different ways.
Thank you for the update, Mr. Valenti. Any other
Now,
comments?
one other thing that Ms. Moore brought up was about streetlights being out. In particular, there was a number of streetlights that our office took notice of that were physically missing. They were removed as a result of motor vehicle accidents, and there was a substantial time period where they had not
And
been.
also removed by PS. They responded and took them away.
Yeah. So there was a traffic accident. Police then call PS. PS comes out, removes the broken fixture, but doesn't replace it. There were 3 on the ramp of the Route 18 northbound that were gone since last March.
Along Boyd Park, there was 3 missing.
And various other places. One down here on George at Patterson and so forth. So, but by being persistent with PS, we got those 5 that I reported replaced, and I've since given them another 5 that again are physically missing. that need to be replaced. And when we do get reports of outages, they're reported directly. There's an online system that anybody can go online and report them for repair. And they like to get the pole numbers when they are available, but if not, they'll take
A
a,
very detailed description.
the better.
In front of its own, the 121 Livingston Avenue or something like that.
But it is something, I just want to let the public know, it is something we follow up on and take seriously and so forth.
And there are times when some lights get fixed quickly, and other times, and we don't see a rhyme or reason to on the PS side, why in some cases it's immediate, in other cases it takes a while, so. Great.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Any other items for the roundtable for the good of the order? In that case, do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, and the meeting is adjourned, 8 minutes after 2.